Oh, we're being recorded. Okay, let me just write. Got it. Okay. Now I'm going to teach you to sing this with me. It goes like this. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me and you today. Something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. So that's my message for today. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks so much. Goodbye. Thanks so much. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. I love that you're dancing. Amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Yeah. Now I'll sing my little mantra. I'm gonna get it in my head. 'Cause today is a party. I'm gonna leap on out of bed. And I start my day in this way, knowing that everything is okay. I look for the good in everything. Makes me want to say, okay, here's your part. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Yeah. Now it's not out in the future, well it's right before my eyes. The beauty, joy and wonder, well it's time I realize that every moment is a gift. All it takes is the slightest shift to see the good in everything. Makes you want to sing. Here we go, sing with me now. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen to me today. It's time to blow. You have, and notice it matches my outfit. It's so important. Purple. Now, but how can I be open to it? Gratitude, gratitude. But what if I'm not really feeling it? Gratitude, gratitude. I believe in the power. What I say will be. It's time I learn the lesson. Gratitude is the key. Yeah, 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 yes it is. Okay, here's another part for you to sing with me. You're gonna think about all the wonder in the world. And you say this statement. You say, amazing, amazing. It's all amazing. 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 Amazingly awesome. It's gonna happen to me today. Something amazingly awesome is gonna happen look around the room and say something amazingly awesome is going to happen to you today. Just tell someone next to you something amazingly awesome is going to happen to you today. You never know. Amazingly awesome. Good job, everybody. Here's my applause. You don't know what this has been like for 2 years, to sit in a little room and do a talk. So someone gave this to me. I was saying, the thing that's really hard about doing Zoom, well, see, I'm spoiled today looking at all of your wonderful faces and seeing you. But, for 2 years, I've been doing this in my little room by myself. And so someone, I said, what's really hard is you don't hear applause, you don't hear laughter, you don't hear anything. So they gave me this applause button. Oh, you moved the microphone so I can hear your applause. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, you guys, you're spoiling me. This is just way too fun. So anyway, but the magic of Zoom, that I can be with you today, this morning. I'm in San Francisco, and, I can be with you. But let me tell you about this song. This is an amazingly awesome idea here that I want to share with you, first of all. So this song was written because there's a wonderful author by the name of Pam Grout. And Pam Grout has written all these New York Times bestseller books. She's written a book called The E-Myth, and it's all the one that I got this from was Thank and Grow Rich. And so she uses a lot of Course in Miracles material, but she's just very positive and just has these wonderful ideas in her books. And one of the ideas she said is that every morning when you wake up, before you even put your little footies on the floor, you have to say in your mind, something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. You start your day with one of these affirmations. And so in typical Karen Drucker fashion, the way that I remember things is I put little yellow stickies everywhere. And this is how, you need to all know that this is how I write all my songs. Whatever I'm trying to affirm in my life, I write a song about it. So you get to see what all my issues are, because everything that's in my songs, about money, and I've got thin thighs, and I'm a foxy babe, whatever it is, it goes on a yellow sticky, and I write a song about it. But so she said, do it, put little yellow stickies around, or just affirm all day long, something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. And the way that I can remember things is I put a little melody to it. That's just the way my mind works. So I started to, sing this little something amazingly awesome. And the song kept calling to me like it's more than just a little personal chant for me. Like I just wanted to write a full song around it. And so what I did was I thought, well, I'm going to do something amazingly awesome, and I'm going to write to her and ask her if I can make a song out of it. Now, she's a big New York Times best-selling author, and it's like I had no connections to her whatsoever. But I went online, found her website, and just did one of those generic, contact page things, and wrote her this little message saying, "Hi there, my name is Karen Drucker, and I write these little songs." And I did something that my dad taught me years ago. He said, with everything in life, whether it's giving a kindness to someone or it's a business thing you want to do, you look at everything like little pebbles, and you just throw them out into a lake. And you never know when that ripple is going to come back. It could be 5 years before that ripple comes. This is metaphorically. But, you just throw these things, you just keep throwing yourself out into the lake, and you never know when the ripple is going to come back. So, in that fashion, I just threw this letter out into the world thinking, I'm probably not going to ever hear back. Well, 2 days later, I hear back from her. And the first line of her email to me is, "Are you the Karen Drucker?" I'm like, you know me? And it turns out, now this is what's amazing, it turns out her little Unity Church in Lawrence, Kansas, sings my songs every weekend, every Sunday. And even more amazing was 10 years ago when I wrote my book, Let Go of the Shore, her minister had come to her and said, here's this book by this gal, Karen Drucker. Can you write a 6-week class based on her book? And someone had sent this to me. It was a whole, this whole class based on my book for 6 weeks. It was a book study. I never knew who sent it to me. I didn't know where it came from. turns out it was Pam Grout who wrote that class. And so I write to her. So she says, yes, I know you. I would be thrilled. And she said, my bucket list dream is to write a song. So through the magic of Zoom, we started to, correspond like this. And we actually wrote this song together just through Zoom. And it was her bucket list, and I have this fun song. But it was really an example of when you allow yourself to think into that amazingly awesome realm of like, well, this could be fun to do. But how often do we have a thought like that and go, oh, it's probably not going to work? I look at life and creativity and the way spirit works through our minds as a garden hose with this energy of water going through. But so oftentimes we just put our foot down on that garden hose and stop the flow. Do you know what I'm talking about? Can you get that visual? That all it takes sometimes is for us to simply lift our foot up and let that energy flow. And so it's a practice. This is really a spiritual practice of allowing yourself to say, even in the midst of all the craziness that's going on in the world, and I need to give voice to that, because it's like, how in a way I look at this talk and say, well, how can you be saying to people something amazingly awesome and it's all beautiful and wonderful when there's all this chaos and destruction going on in the world? But to me, that's one of the reasons why I want to do this talk. I truly believe that when we allow ourselves to shine our light, when we are happy, when we are lit up, when we are doing what it is that we are meant to do, if it's just being kind to someone else, that alone is a spiritual practice. That to me is what creates peace. That to me is what allows us to move through these hard times in community and being with each other and supporting each other. So to me, it's all about shining our lights and being lit up from the inside and letting spirit move through us like that garden hose, letting that love and that joy and faith and all those wonderful qualities just move through us. So that's the question of the day, actually, is one of the first things that Pam had said in her little thing was starting your day in this way. So the question I have for you all today is, how did you start your day? Did you wake up this morning and go, oh, it's a beautiful day, I get to go to church, and you walk into the bathroom and you look at yourself and go, oh my God, did you get more beautiful overnight? What is the deal? Did you look in the mirror and go, look at this body? Oh my God, what a miracle of God this body is, and you are just stunning. Did you do that? Or did you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, everything's dropping. What's happening? So to me, that's what this talk is about, is the spiritual practice of how we start our day. And I don't know if I don't know if I told you this last time, but one of my favorite stories about starting your day, and this is the decision I made when I started making albums, when I started making CDs, is that I always wanted the very first song on all of my CDs to be something to get you going in the morning. So Thank You for This Day was an example of that. I have another song, I Start My Day with Love. I have another song that starts off, the first song of the album is I Will Surrender to My Greatest, Highest Good. So I always try and start all my albums with just one song. If you had an alarm clock radio or a CD player that woke you up with music, you'd hear me singing to you that this is going to be a great day. But this is my favorite story, is I was in a hotel and I had the very first song on the alarm clock radio in this hotel, Wake Me Up, with Linda Ronstadt singing, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good. Now, what do you think you hear in your head all day? And she goes, I'm going to say it again, you're no good, you're no good. Think of all the songs that we hear, the Bee Gees, Tragedy, it's such, and then I think there's a Beatles song, I think I'm gonna be sad, I think it's today. So I'm trying to turn this around, because I truly believe that that's what gets in your head. And, this is what what the motivation of all my affirmational chants is all about, because it becomes what is called an earworm. And all day long you sing, you're no good, you're no good. It just somehow, you just keep hearing that message. And so to me, the idea of saying something amazingly awesome is going to happen is that shift. But I want to look at some of the words that I said in this song. So it says, I start my day in this way, knowing everything is okay. I look for the good in everything. So again, that's a spiritual practice, that you start your day saying, before it even starts, this is what faith is. This is what the teachings that we are all studying is that you, before it even appears, before you even start your day, that you're saying, I know, I'm claiming, I'm saying right now that this day is magical, this day is good, that everything I see, I'm going to look for the good in it. You know, actually, Ernest Holmes has this great quote, if I can read to you. He says, I affirm that today is filled with blessings for myself and others. I mean, if you stop right there and just said that every morning, I affirm that today is filled with blessings for myself, but also for others. I am guided now into right action and successful accomplishments of all my good desires. This I accept. This I experience. I know that the creative law of good is infinite. Let me read that again. I know that the creative law of good is infinite and has all power to accomplish. I know its whole desire for me today is freedom and joy. The infinite richness of one spirit is mine for me to enjoy. And then he also has this affirmation. I think I need to write a song about this. Life now sings through me in radiant ecstasy. Isn't that great? Life now sings through me in radiant ecstasy. And what is that? I forgot to write that down, but what is that Charles Fillmore quote? At 91, he says, you know, today I leap, what is it? I got to find this for you all. Or maybe some of you know it. It's like, today I leap out of bed with a faith that's, you know, unwavering, or, I've got to find this for you because it's great. But it's affirming before you, someone knows it.
I knows it. Deb knows it. I don't know the whole thing, but I fairly sizzle with joy.
Yeah, that's it. I fairly sizzle with joy and excitement for what, you know, but basically the same thing for what this day is going to bring. So you're saying this before you even get out of bed. But here's the other thing. Here's another line from that song. It's not out in the future. It's right before my eyes. The beauty, joy, and wonder, and it's time I realize that every moment is a gift. You know, a friend of mine wrote a song that said, if you're not in awe, you're not paying attention. Isn't that great? If you're not just every day just going, oh my God, look at that, you know, cloud. Oh my God, look at these mountains where we live. Oh my God, look at the face of God when you look around. I mean, actually do that right now for me, since I can see you. Just look around the room. Just look at these gorgeous people and just notice the face of God in each of them. You know, if you're not in awe, you're not paying attention to all the beauty that's all around you. You know, I wish I could, I need to learn how to do share screen and all that kind of technical stuff. But I have a picture that I just think is just so perfect of the problem we have of looking for that awe and wonder and how distracted we all get. There's a picture of a guy on a sailboat. And I don't know how someone took this picture, but it is just the best picture I've ever seen of this. He's on a sailboat, and you see him with his head down in his cell phone, and a whale is coming right by his boat. I mean, 5 feet away, there's a whale that you see the top of the whale coming right by his boat, and the whole time he's looking at his phone. You know, and that's what we do a lot of times, is we are just so unaware. We're just walking around with these little blinders of like, okay, where do I have to go and what do I have to do? But, you know, it's our inner critic that will oftentimes just keep hammering at us, that keeps us away from just being in that moment of grace and presence. You know, to me, it's all about that we just take that time every morning and just breathe into the day of saying, what do I want this day to be? I'm declaring, I am knowing that something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me. And last night I got to tell you, so I'm just starting to come back into the world doing things again. And last night I was hired to play a private party. Now this is how I used to make my living, was I had a band in San Francisco and we played all the hotels and, played weddings and conventions and stuff. But so I was kind of nervous last night because it was my first time singing, out in the world, singing standards and rock and roll and stuff like that. And I was up in Nob Hill, which is in San Francisco. It's hard to get places to park. There's just all these elements to doing this job. And I did exactly what I'm talking to you about. I said, well, wait, I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow morning. Why don't I just practice it and see if it works? And I just said, something amazingly awesome is going to happen with this job tonight. I am affirming that I get easy parking. I am affirming that it's easy to get in. I'm affirming that the equipment works. I'm affirming that the people are nice. I just did this list of I affirm now, I declare now that this is what it's going to be. And that is what affirmative prayer is that before it shows up, you're saying, before you even see any evidence of it, you're saying right now, I'm declaring that this was what will be. So I got to tell you, my husband, who did this job with me, he's a guitar player and bass player, he's kind of looking at me going, but it's Saturday night on Nob Hill. You think we're going to get parked? And he's just doing all this kind of... And I'm going, I'm declaring, and I'm knowing. Well, wouldn't you know, we drive up right in front of the hotel. There's a parking place. We go up to we're at the penthouse suite at the Fairmont. The people, it turns out, it's not some big wedding. It's 20 people getting together. Now listen to this. 20 people getting together to celebrate the life of this man. It's a couple that put this party on, that he's been going through chemo and he's got cancer. And they brought 20 of their friends together to have this beautiful dinner to celebrate him and to keep him going along his path of what he's doing and just to feel the love of his friends. And where usually I would be just this generic singer in the background, this woman had actually listened to some of my songs online, and she said, your song, There Is Only Love, is helping me to help him get through this hard time. And so at one point, they sat down in front of me, and I sang that song. I could barely get through the song without getting all choked up. But I thought, what a miracle that these people were here, that I could give them this gift of this song. And they were looking at me with such love, and it was the sweetest, sweetest moment. And that all happened, I believe, because I declared that this was going to happen. It was a complete miracle situation. But I want to get back to one other thing that the song says, which is, what if I'm not really feeling it? What if you wake up in the morning and you're having a hard time? And the bridge says, what if I'm not open to it? What if I'm not really feeling it? And the backup singers are going, gratitude, gratitude. And that's the other part of this equation, is to look at how can you see the smallest part of gratitude in all of this, that you can even before you know what the day is going to be, that you can give thanks for the fact that you woke up. Loretta LaRoche, who's this wonderful comedian, motivational speaker, and she wakes up every morning going, ta-da, I'm here. That's her affirmation, ta-da. I mean, what more do we need, But in our little minds, we're always going, well, I got to know about other things that I can be grateful for. The fact that you open your damn eyes in the morning, to me, is enough. That I can actually get out of bed and walk to the bathroom and say, oh, look at you, you gorgeous thing. It's looking at the smallest things. There was a time in my life when I was really going through a dark night of the soul, and I was having a really hard time. And I remember, now this just shows you how small this can be of gratitude, but I remember waking up one morning and going, oh, I'm so depressed, and I just had all these problems in my mind. But I remember that there was this bakery down the street that had delicious, fabulous coffee and a croissant. And I thought, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and have, this pastry and this wonderful coffee. And just that alone made me have that shift that I talk about in the song. Because the lyric in that song says, sometimes all it takes is the slightest shift to see the good in everything. And that's what we need to remember is sometimes it's the slightest shift. It's someone smiling at you when you're in line at Starbucks, someone turning around and going, hey, how you doing today? It's someone in this group right now just offering you, just maybe after church today that they say, hey, if you're having a hard time this week, give me a call. Whatever, it could be the slightest thing that allows you to shift into that place of gratitude, of seeing one thing that you're grateful for. One thing. So it's giving thanks before it happens that allows us to have that shift that can allow us to say that's something amazingly awesome, even when you don't have any idea what it's going to be. One thing could happen that you didn't expect. So I want to tell you one little story here that to me is one of my favorite stories of this. So you might have heard me talk about this before in another talk, but one of my passions, what gets me going in the morning, is I am a swimmer. I have been a competitive swimmer since I was 6 years old. I was training for the Olympics. I still swim every day. I'm on a wonderful team, an adult masters team. And when we got back to when COVID hit and we couldn't swim for like 2 months, the pool was closed. I never realized, and once again, this is what this talk is about, I never realized how important these people were to me, that some of them I don't even know their names. I've been seeing them for years. I swim in their lane. I see them on the pool deck when we're all coming in to swim. But when we came back to swim again, when the pool was open, I remember practically crying, being in the locker room, hearing everybody changing and all the sounds and the noise and going, oh my God, I never realized how precious this was to me. I mean, I think that's another thing that COVID did for all of us was allow us to remember what is important to us. And, I never take these people for granted now because it's like, this is my tribe, my little swimming tribe. And some of these people I have nothing in common with. We come from all different backgrounds and different economic status and everything, but it's like we all share this love for swimming. So I also belong to a club in San Francisco called the Dolphin Club, where we swim in the San Francisco Bay. And when I joined that club many years ago, it was quite like a little ego trip for me because every time we would do a swim, like swimming the Golden Gate Bridge or swimming from Alcatraz or swimming around the aquatic park in Ghirardelli Square, if any of you know that area, when we would swim, I would always be in the top 5, finishers. I mean, I was fast and I would always, come in at the front. And there was one guy that I swam with named George. And every single time we would get in the bay, he would be right next to me. And he'd come up to me before every event. And he'd go, okay, Drucker, I see you. I'm going to beat you in this one. And we had this thing, every time it's like George, George and Karen. And we'd battle it out. And it's hysterical because we would all, like, if we're swimming from Alcatraz, you take a big boat over. And, the whistle blows and you all jump in the water. And within 3 minutes, there's, 50 or 70 people swimming from Alcatraz to San Francisco. We'd all spread out. It's just everyone spreads out. But wouldn't you know, every single time, George is right next to me. So now we're swimming the Golden Gate Bridge. And George comes up to me and goes, I see you, Drucker. I'm going to get you on this one. And so we all dive off, and wouldn't you know, within just a few minutes, here's George right next to me with every stroke I'm taking. Here's George. And I'm swimming, and we're battling it out, and we're underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and all of a sudden I turn to the right, and George is no longer there. And I stop, and I'm like, did he drown? I mean, where is he? And I look, and here's this guy. He's like 70 years old or something like that. He's back here, and he's doing water ballet. All of a sudden, in the middle of the bay, he's dancing. He's doing water ballet in the water. And I swim back to him and I go, George, what are you doing? We're in a race here. What is happening? And he said to me the words that have changed my life. He said, Karen, when are we ever underneath the Golden Gate Bridge? Why would we take this experience and just put our heads down and just try and get to the other side as fast as possible? He said, this is amazing. Look at the bridge above us. Look at the fog coming in, and look at the seagulls, and look at all this. Why would we put our heads down and just try and get to the other side as fast as possible? And I go, well, but because we're, and I just went, you are so right. And I started doing water ballet with George. And so now we're both dancing along, and all the people that we would always beat are now coming up around us going, what are you guys doing? And we're going, we're doing water ballet. Look at this beautiful day. And they're going, well, we're going to beat you. And then they all swam off. But the point is, it's like he gave me a gift that day of saying, really, why would I take any experience and just try and get through it as fast as possible? Why would I put my head down in the water instead of looking up and around and looking at the awe and wonder of everything? He opened me up to the fact that there were so many things in my life that I was doing that way, of just putting my head down and just going through it without really opening. I mean, I keep doing this motion, but it's opening up to the awe and wonder of everything. And I'll tell you, every race I've done since then, I've never been in the top 5 anymore, and I'm thrilled not to be. I'm usually at the end because I stop and I look around and I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure of everybody coming by me like I'm supposed to, be swimming faster. But, I've gotten to this place where I want to be open to the possibilities of everything that's available to me. And I have so many stories of, once I started to realize that my life got fuller and richer. I have one more story. Am I supposed to be done, Deb, like in 2 minutes? Or can I do another story?
No!
Play on.
I'm having too much fun with all of you. So I'm going to give you another one. I'm going to give you another story that I think is totally another awesome example. So when I used to travel all the time, before COVID, I was always on the road. And, loved what I did, but the travel part, for any of you who have traveled a lot, is like, ugh. And I was in Huntsville, Alabama. And I was late getting to the airport. I was really nervous about missing my flight, but so I'm already stressed out. I get to the airport, and they say I have a 3-hour delay. And I'm just going, oh my God. And now I'm in a terrible mood, and I'm just pissy, and I just want to get home. But I go to the gate, and now I've got 3 hours in front of me, and I'm just going, and so what do? I'm a spiritual person. I thought, okay, I need help here. And I closed my eyes, and I had to pray, because I just didn't know. I truly didn't know how I was going to make it through this. Like, how do I wait for 3 hours and then have a 5-hour flight? And I was just like, help me. So I did this prayer, and I said, please let me see miracles. Please let me know that this time will be used for good, that I'll have energy, that, dear God, just help me. And really just said, okay, I'm grateful the fact that, I'm at this airport, I made it on time, and I'm, and I turned to the gratitude, but I basically just said, help me see a miracle here. So this is a true story. I'm sitting at the gate, I do my prayer, and I open up my eyes, and the light was reflecting on something white. And I look, and I'm at gate 3 at this little teeny airport. But at gate 1, there is a white grand piano. That the light was literally shining down on this white grand piano. I felt like I almost heard angels going, ah, ah, ah. Why would there be a white grand piano in an airport sitting by the gate? So I go over there, and I'm thinking, is this, am I seeing an illusion here? But I go over to and and it's not locked. I open up, it's this beautiful grand piano. I look around, and I go, well, okay, God, I guess I'm supposed to write some songs. So I sit down, and I start to play, and every moment I keep thinking I'm going to get busted, and someone's going to come over and say, you can't play it. But what was amazing was I'm playing the piano. Now I'm having a great time because I have, little bits of songs. I'm starting to work on songs. But all of a sudden, about 15 minutes into it, this big security guard comes over, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm busted. I can't do this any longer. And he comes, and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm playing. He goes, oh, no, keep playing. He said, this is great. I'm really enjoying hearing you. But he said, he introduced himself, and he said, my biggest dream in my life is to play the piano and to write a song. And I go, well, honey, you came to the right place. And he sits down, and for the next 2 hours, I give him a piano lesson. We write a song. We actually had people come around and listen, and we debuted his song. It was this highlight of his life, is what he told me. But that, as soon as I went into service and into just what was happening and being present into what was in that moment, it was once again that shift of seeing the good and being open to the possibility that there could be something else happening that is way beyond what I could have imagined. So it was, and not only that, I think my plane came early. I had energy. I was so happy. But that's what this is about, is that there are things that are beyond our seeing, that when we say, I want to be open to the possibility of miracles happening in my life, that's when magic happens. So I want to end today with this little song, and it's interesting. This is a song I wrote with my friend Claudia Carawan, that when we wrote it, we said, and I think it's incredible that the prayer that she read or spoke was talking about possibilities. We didn't even talk about this, but this is what this song is. But when Claudia and I wrote this song, we wrote, I am open to the possibility. But every time we performed this, we both were noticing this extra little sound that was coming from everybody, which was tss, meaning everybody in the audience was saying, I am open to the possibilities. So, meaning there's more than one possibility thing that's going to happen. There could be many possibilities. So it goes like this. I am open to the possibilities. I am open to the possibilities of a life. It goes like this. Of a life that is meant to be lived by me. Can you sing that with me? I am open. I am open to the possibilities. To the possibilities. I am open. I am open to the possibilities. To the possibilities of a life. Of a life that is meant to be lived. To be lived by me. So I want you to put your hand on your heart for a moment. Close your eyes. And just think about, what is something in your life that you would like to create happening? What could be a miracle for you? What is a possibility that if you were open to it and you give thanks for it before it even happened, could actually manifest? Could even manifest today. So just take a deep breath and sing with me again. I am open to the possibilities. I am open to the possibilities. I am open to the possibilities of a life that is meant to be lived by me. I'm open to the possibility. So what is that possibility that you're open to right now? So this week I want you to do a little homework assignment for me. Every day I want you to look in the mirror and say, something amazingly awesome is happening to me right now. And I want you to look for 3 things in the day that is something of awe and wonder to you. So at the end of the day, you can say, something amazingly awesome. This is what I saw. This is what I felt. There's another little spiritual practice that you can do every night before you put your head down. You say, what is one thing that inspired me today? What is one thing that touched my heart today? And what is one thing that was amazingly awesome? So just be open as we say, I am open to the possibility that something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. Yay. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you so much, Karen. Oh my gosh, once again. Whew. Once again, you've inspired us, entertained us. It's been great. Thank you.